Afternoon all and welcome to my lesson. So today we're going to be looking at solving quadratics using the factorisation method. So throughout this video I really recommend you make some notes. Get a bit of pen and paper with you, write down anything you think is going to be useful to remember. It may also help you with retention or even what we'll talk about a little bit later and actually being able to focus on it fully. It is a video, so you have a chance to listen again to anything you haven't quite understood or even just want a little bit more information on, so you can pause it, rewind it, start little bits again. That's absolutely fine. I recommend you do it as much as possible. So we're also going to be asked to pause the video at stages. I will be doing it when you are going to be doing little mini tasks, which again I'll talk about next. But you may also want to be pausing the video if you are making notes, you need a little bit longer, or just to help you process something for a little bit longer. So pause as much as you need to. With your activities, there are 2 mini activities on here, as well as your big task you'll have to do at the end, which links back to what you're doing on Teams anyway. They are there to help you. I recommend you do them and you give them your full attention. It helps you and it will let you know if you're on the right track or not. Finally, focus. I know it's really hard, but turn anything off that can distract you. Turn off your TVs, put your phones aside, put them face down in your pockets, make sure they're turned off so you're not going to be distracted. Just think, the more you focus now, the quicker this will be done. You'll have completed your work and you can get back to whatever you are doing. It's really important you are focusing as much as possible. So on to our quadratics. Previously, so in last week's lessons, we have done expanding double brackets into a quadratic and the reverse of going from the quadratic at the bottom to the 2 brackets at the top. So if you remember, going from the 2 brackets to the quadratic, we're using Miss Bridges' dodgy eyebrows. X times x is x squared, 3 times x is 3x, 4 times x is 4x, 4 times 3 is 12. Simplify, you get your quadratic at the bottom. And you're all great with that. So, as I said, today we're going to be solving the quadratics using this method. So we're going to be using skills we've done before. There's just one little bit you need to add on to the end, and that's going to help it, and then you're going to be fully solved with your factorising quadratics. So just a quick recap. We've got our x squared plus 15x plus 44. So first thing I need to do is identify my product, which is the 2 numbers I'm multiplying together, and the sum, so 2 numbers I'm adding together. So I want to multiply to get 44, but add to get 15. So step 2 is to write down all the factor pairs of the product. So all the numbers that multiply to make 44. So I've got 1 and 44, 2 and 22, and 4 and 11. Again, we do want to be using integers here, so whole numbers. Step 3 is to decide which pair can be used to make the sum. So we're adding two numbers together. It's really important that you are using numbers within a pair. So I'm not swapping. I'm not using 1 and 11, and I'm not using 4 and 22. Got to use a pair. So as you can see from those, the only pair I can use is 4 and 11. And if I'm adding together, they're going to make 15. So that gives me my 2 brackets of x plus 11 and x plus 4. They're both positive, so it just stays as plus 11 and plus 4. So how is it different to solve? So we need to make the equation equal 0. So it's going to look a bit like this. I then do the same process I've just done to get my 2 brackets. So we're all happy with our x plus 11 and x plus 4. As we said, it needs to equal 0. So let's make it equal 0. Look a bit like this. If I want plus 11 to equal 0, I'd have to subtract 11. So therefore this first bracket, x is minus 11. For the second bracket, to make plus 4 0, I'd have to subtract 4. Therefore x is minus 4. So I'd have an answer of x is minus 11 or x is 4. You can actually have 2 answers. In this case, you need both. So here's a slightly different example. So factorise and solve x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 0. So first of all, find your 2 numbers that multiply your product. They need to make 16. and two numbers that sum to make minus 8. Key that you remember your rules with negatives. So to sum to make a minus, we'll have a product of 16. They're both going to have to be minus numbers. So minus 4 add minus 4 gives you minus 8. But then multiplied together, they give you 16. So there's my two numbers for my brackets. Again, they need to equal 0. So my next stage is forming like so. And do what we did before. So to make minus 4 0, you're going to add 4. So x is plus 4 and x is plus 4. As both answers are the same, we just write one of them. But as normal, we don't write our number sequence as plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4. We just use x equals 4. It is now your turn to have a go at some. So pause the video, have a go at these 4 questions. If you need to, re-watch the previous 2 examples. Good luck, and when you return, the answers will be on the screen. Welcome back. I hope you completed all 4 questions and got them all correct. If you didn't, go back, double check them, see where you've gone wrong. Here's the answers for you. So recheck your methods, make sure you've got everything perfect in there. We're now going to have a look at a worded question. I really like this question. However, every time I've shown it previously, people tend to be put off straight away because there's lots of wording in there. It's actually a lot more simple than it seems. So we're just going to write things out that we know. So first of all, I'm going to draw my nice rectangular field. I like to see things visually. I think in this case it really helps. I don't know how long my sides are. So I know the rectangular field is 10 meters longer than it is wide, and I know the area is 2,000 meters squared. I don't know how long or wide it is, so I'm going to call the short side x. I know the top side is the same length as x, add another 10 meters. So I can say that by x plus 10. Then going to start forming my equation. It's area to begin with, so I'm going to multiply my sides together. X times x is x squared, x times 10 is 10x, and that equals 2,000. As we said previously, it's got to equal 0, and it's currently equaling 2,000, so I'm going to have to rearrange my equation. So I'm still going to have my x squared and my 10x, but then I'm going to have to subtract that 2,000 from that side of the equals so that it can equal 0. So I'm left with x squared plus 10x minus 2,000 equals 0. Now back on to solving it. So we formed, now we're going to solve. So here's my equation again that we've just formed. We'd normally start off by writing your factor pairs of minus 2,000. They've also got to sum to make plus 10. If I've got to make a product of a negative number and a sum of a positive number, I know one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. So I'd find out that x is plus 50 or x is minus 40 to begin with in my brackets. Again, make them 0. To make plus 50 0, you subtract 50, so x is minus 50. To make minus 40 0, we'd add 40, so x is 40. Now here, you've got to use your common sense a bit. Can you have a length of field that's minus 50 meters? You can't. Therefore, I'm going to have to use x equals 40 as my value. Now I'm going to go back to my field. So there it is, lovely blue field. I know one side is x, the other side is x plus 10. I now know what x is. I know x is 40. 40 add 10, as far as I'm aware, is 50. And now I'm looking for the perimeter, so I can fill in the other sides of my field. 40 and 50. Perimeter, I'm going to add the lengths together. Gives me 180 meters. So the perimeter of this field is 180 meters. That's your example done. Have a go at this one yourself. It is a 4-mark question. Have a real good go at it. If you need to, rewatch the example. Break it down. If you are struggling, just do it step by step. Form that equation to begin with. Find your factor pairs. Put them into your brackets. Make them equal 0. and then solve. Good luck. When you return, the answers will be on the screen. So here's my answer. I've used grid method at the top to help me with my multiplication with algebra. I find it quite useful. However, you will notice I made a slight mistake. I forgot to put the x on the end of the 30, but I have addressed that in the next row of working. As you can see, as we travel through the working, the overall answer is 380 meters. Check how you got on. Does your working out look like mine? Have you followed the same processes? And did you get the overall answer? How many marks did you get? Final part of today's lesson. Can you go and complete task 2, which is on your teams? Choose red or green, don't do both. One has help, the other one doesn't. If you are struggling, email me so I can help you. And just a quick tip, remember your rules when dealing with negatives. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.